So first and foremost, on this channel, I cover a lot of very heavy topics, but I cover them in a lighthearted type manner. And the reason that I do that is because in life, you either laugh or you cry, and I'm not the type to want to be dour or sour or bring anyone down. If anything, I like to see the light, the silver lining, or the light at the end of the tunnel. But I've gotten some comments, particularly when it comes to that, to the Crystal Kaiser video that, oh, you're making light of this. It's not that I'm making light of it. It's just that, hey, either I'm going to sit here, get really emotional or angry, or I'm going to think with a clearer head when it comes to, situations, particularly situations that I can't do anything about personally. So without further ado, let's get into this video right here, because the situation is just jacked up all the way around, and it's a fantastic example of of something that I speak of on this channel very often, and that's the poison that is urban American culture. So it's coming to us from CBS News, even though this story is really taken off. 13-year-old boy faces murder charges in death of Barnard College student, and this is written by Audrey McNamara. What we're going to do is we're going to go through the video first, and then, we'll go through the article.
All right, a possible break in the case of that brutal murder. We've learned that a 13-year-old boy is under arrest. He's been held without bail tonight after police say he confessed to playing a role in the killing. CBS News has also learned that a second teenager is also being questioned. Errol Barnett.
So this sort of feels a little bit like the whole Central Park 5 situation, because apparently a group of young boys from an urban setting accosted this young lady and tried to rob her.
Is outside the crime scene, and Errol, I understand they're still searching for another suspect?
Well, Nora, a 13-year-old suspect appeared in court today, and the detective who interviewed him shared this story. He says they came to this park to rob someone following a man inside, but the suspect says he watched his two friends stab and choke Tessa Majors.
So another theme that really carries throughout a lot of the videos that I do is the theme of minimizing, right? Oh, it was them that did it, or, just trying to minimize, particularly when people get caught up in situations like this in dealing with the government and the law, that they try to minimize, their role. Like, hey, I wasn't the one that stabbed the person. I wasn't the main antagonist here. I was just a simple bystander going about my life.
White said at this time, rush the bus.
Shortly after Tessa Majors was stabbed, police had their sights on potential suspects. Eyewitnesses seeing individuals fleeing the park.
Looking for one male wearing a green jacket, unknown race, face was covered.
That male was brought in for questioning Thursday when police recognized his clothing. He had a knife with him at the time of his arrest. The 13-year-old, who is being charged as a juvenile, was questioned by police in the presence of his uncle. CBS News has learned he confessed to the robbery and said he was involved in the murder, implicating two others in the crime. One brought in for questioning, the other still at large. The boy is being charged with felony second-degree murder, robbery, and possession of a weapon. This afternoon, the young teen appeared in family court visibly nervous, his uncle and aunt in the room with him. Those who knew the victim are remembering a talented bass...
Where's his dad? Where's his father? It's his uncle, who's probably his sister's, his mother's brother. But where's this young man's father? I mean, for all the riffing, for all of the griping that we as a country do when it comes to our urban settings, we never look at the intentional dismissal of the father's role.
Bass guitar player and future journalist. Chris Graham hired Tessa Majors as an intern at a Virginia newspaper.
He was asking me why I did what I did, how I got into journalism, wanted to know the nuts and bolts of it. First time we met, I could tell right away that she was a special young lady.
Now the third...
Okay, this might seem a little like inappropriate, but definitely a Hillary supporter. Did you see the green hair and the like? I mean, and she wants to be a quote-unquote journalist.
13-year-old is being held in custody and expected back in court on Tuesday. Now, if convicted as a juvenile, he would serve time in a detention facility and then be eligible for release, Nora, when he turns 21.
All right, Errol, thank you.
When he turns 21. Well, thank you, Arab. I really appreciate it. I'm curious, like, where is that accent from? Either ways, let's get into the written article. A 13-year-old boy will be charged in the murder of Tessa Majors, a freshman at Barnard College in Manhattan who died after being stabbed in a Morningside Park on Wednesday night. CBS News has learned the 13-year-old was caught trespassing in a building on Thursday wearing clothes that matched the description of the suspect. Police arrested him for criminal trespass and during a search found he was carrying a knife. He later confessed that he and two others murdered Majors. Sources said the boy told investigators that he and two friends attempted to rob Majors. Okay, we've gone through all that. There's another part of this story where one of the boys they picked up, but he dipped. He was on his way to turn himself in, and he just hopped out the G-Rod and bounced. Statement: Columbia University Public Safety police called to the scene, found her unconscious. EMS transported her. The park is a popular thoroughfare for many college students who live near or around Columbia University and Barnard College, according to New York NYPD statistics. Crime is up in the park, and the city's murder rate is also up some 8%. In April, police said a group of teens between the ages of 12 to 15 attacked 3 women on 3 separate occasions in the Morningside Heights neighborhood near the park. Crime in Morningside Park was so rampant in the 60s and 70s that New York Daily News reported locals referred to it as Mugging Side Park. By 2001, the New York Times declared that the Morningside nightmare had ended, writing children are in the playgrounds and Columbia students routinely settle under the trees to read. Asked by CBS News correspondent Errol Barnett why the murder rate is higher this year compared to last year, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said, "Look, it's a question we are asking ourselves strategically, not just we feel it emotionally. Every single one of us gets the same reports every morning, and they're not just numbers to us, they're human lives." True. The mayor said he can't pinpoint a single reason for the increase, but overall major crimes are down in NYC. The idea that a college freshman at Barnard was murdered in cold blood is absolutely not only painful to me as a parent, but terrifying that could happen anywhere, de Blasio said. Okay, so that's the end of the article. We'll knock it in our head. Yeah, she definitely has that whole Hillary supporter like vibe to her, but that's the thing. None of that matters. This young lady should still be alive, should still be among us. And the problem that I'm having is that we're going to sit there, we're going to chastise the 13-year-old boys. And the thing is that they are products of an environment and of a culture that has gone out of its way to remove the guidance from their lives. Because had, these young men been born to, fathers that were present, active in their lives, none of them would have been in Morningside Park that day. And that's where it all kind of flows in together. That poison that that's destroyed the urban centers of this country has just continues to leak out and seep out, and it gets so many people that have nothing to do with it just caught up in it, that until we actually start to look at these at the legislation and the policies and a lot of the ways we've completely disincentivized the nuclear family as a culture, we're not gonna things will continue to escalate and get worse. And and personally, that's not something that I want for anyone. Tessa Majors should still be alive. She really should be. And the fact that this young man who is of an environment, obviously his uncle, and it's not just this one young man, you got all these 3 young men. I can damn near guarantee if there is a father present, then he's more than likely a simp and not really, a dude with much of a spine. Because that element that goes missing in so many people's lives can be directly pinpointed to how, so we have so many jacked up people running around these days. I mean, it's sad. It really is. Because at the end of the day, this is a human life lost. And at least I don't want anyone harmed or hurt for any particular reason. If you disagree with somebody, you know what? That's what we have words for. But as far as trying to rob somebody, doing some stick-ups, how are stick-up kids still a thing? Seriously, how have we had all these programs in these communities for all these years that's supposed to, we're going to put these kids on the right path, and we're going to basically replace the father, or the government's going to replace the father. I'm sorry, you can't, government. And Tessa Mazur's death is on your hand, because guess what? If the rules were different, if the policies that are in place weren't in place and haven't been in place for the past 30 years, none of us are right here right now. None of us. So with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you like to toss it, dislike, go ahead and do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and you want to get videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring, and YouTube and BitChute and aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here. Bang the bell for notifications. And speak. Let me know, what do you think in the comments? Because if I'm wrong, I'd love for you to be able to explain it to me. How is this not the byproduct of this culture that we've created? Where, like I said in a previous video, these images, these media portrayals, they are there for a specific reason, to push a specific narrative and to create a specific class of individual, which unfortunately these young men, fall under. That's the demo they were going after, and damn it, they got them. And unfortunately, Ms. Majors here was caught in the crossfires. But you may see it differently, and that's why I have a comment section. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until the next one.